In this space, we don't just talk about building confidence, we talk about keeping it. Because in male dominated industries, it's not if your confidence will be tested, it's when. Today, I have the privilege of sitting with Dr. Kelly Elmore. She's a retired Navy captain, a physician executive, and the founder of KOE Medical Consulting and Viva Life SPFME. For over 26 years, she led spaces where very few women and even fewer Black women were given a seat at the table. Dr. Elmore is passionate about transforming health and wellness through leadership, digital innovation, and culturally grounded solutions that center women and families. She's also the host of Viva Life SPF Me podcast. Come on, Dr. Kelly, where she empowers thousands with conversations on health, self advocacy, and thriving. Dr. Kelly, welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm so glad you slid into my DMs and we have met. Yes, yes, yes. I've said a lot. I done read a little bit about you. So please tell my audience more about you that I can't tell them.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Like you said, I slid into your DMs, and that's what people that have confidence do,
That's right.
right?
Come through.
Yeah, because if you want something, you have to go after and get it.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
if you don't, you won't get it. Plain and
You know
simple. It's
that's
not just
right.
going to show up at your door.
That's
But
right.
as far as a little bit more about me, like you said, I've served in the United States Navy for 26 years. I retired a year ago. I tell people I do the 5 W's of retirement, which
Which
is called I do what I want,
okay.
when I want, with whom I want,
Come on.
how I want, and where I want.
Come on, somebody. You better talk about it,
Yeah.
Dr. Kelly.
But that being said, I'm not fully retired from working at all. I do have my own entrepreneurial endeavors where I want to make sure more than 1 million women across the globe have the health care and wealth that they need and deserve. So that's how we do, but through KOE Medical Consulting and Viva Life SPF Me. Viva Life means live life spiritually, physically, financially, mentally, and emotionally, your healthiest and wealthiest. So when you get a board certified OBGYN mixed with a healthcare executive who's seen the inside, the outside, and all the way around, as well as a wife, a mother, daughter, sibling, and friend, you get a conglomerate, a collaboration of excellence to help you do what you want to do and live your healthiest and wealthiest life.
I
That's a little about
absolutely
me.
love that. Oh, I love everything about you. You came on through and you let us know, and I appreciate it. I was able to catch yesterday. You had a live on LinkedIn, and I learned so much about me being self advocating for myself, showing up, going into the doctor's office, letting them know what's going on, what questions to ask. If I didn't know, now I do know. So I thank you for that. And I'm hoping when this airs that everyone will be able to catch the replay and hear all about the wonderful things that you talked about and how we can show up for ourselves and allow ourselves to breathe comfortability into ourselves, being comfortable with being able to ask the questions by everything that you talked about yesterday. So I'm grateful that you put it out. Do you often have shows on LinkedIn?
Yes, absolutely. So, as you know, we do the podcast, so that's on all the platforms. But then also we do webinars specifically, and that will get posted to LinkedIn, YouTube, and many other social media. And if you sign up with me, then it'll get sent to your email too.
Come on for the sign up. That's what we do. We just bring it, drop it right there for you. Anything that you need as women, being confident, showing up for each other, showing that there is avenues for you. So I love that you drop it right in. Look, right, you're gonna drop it right in my email. All right, in my inbox. I appreciate that. Yes.
And don't let me go to junk mail. Put me on your inbox.
You on it. You got a little star next to you too. I just want you to know that. Before I get sidetracked, because I know I can get sidetracked, I want to jump into your decades, 2+ decades being in the military and in
Yes.
medicine. Um, and being a Navy captain, what kept you in that male dominated environment when so many women walk away?
Ooh, that's a good question. First of all, my ideas are my own, so I don't represent any organizations besides myself at this point. Being in the United States military was truly a blessing, and I absolutely loved it. So I grew up playing basketball,
Come on,
and I
talk.
grew up learning about football very early. Uh, my mom's friend used to bet me chicken McNuggets. So you know I knew all the football,
Yes, yes.
baseball, all that other stuff. And I was the youngest of five, and I was the last one at home. So my mom's friends' kids were my friends, and they had more majority of boys than girls. So I just learned how to play sports really early, and I think that made me experience life differently. To where when I show up in a room and there's only men, I feel very comfortable. As a matter of fact, most men say you don't seem like they say a girl, but woman. You just seem like one of us. And I'm like, yeah, you one of me.
That's right. People be surprised, right? When you really think
Uh-huh.
about it. When I'm
Yeah.
when like you, when I'm in environments with men and I'm there most of the time, I'm the only girl, middle girl. I play basketball too. I was the center. Let you know. I no shorts here, but but
Yeah, when
I
you're
do.
D'ing them up on the court and you bring that in the boardroom or whatever ward room you're in, they're like, oh, okay, she got game. Not just
Yes.
game on the court, but game in this boardroom. So they kind of, sometimes they back off a little bit because they're like, okay, she can hold her own.
Yes, that's exactly what happens too. I think besides, I tell a lot of people it's not just about being confident. Confidence may get you in the room, being courageous enough to take your steps to be confident and walk in the room, but it's what you do when you're in there. And I think a lot of it play like you and myself. We played ball, we interacted with men. It wasn't that fear of standing up. And I believe being able to stand up and not let societal norms show up in front of you before you can even walk in the door, you stay there differently. You speak up differently.
Absolutely. And one of the things in the military, yes, I was in the military. I was also a surgeon, right? So that's
Yes.
another room that you tend to be the only one in the room, in the operating room. But I'm also an OBGYN. And I saw the transition from that being a male dominated organization to more of a female dominated organization. And so then I got to see the bi directional and even reverse experiences that men were having. And me being like the person, like, I want everybody to feel comfortable and included in the room. I was like, why are you treating these men like this? Because it is not easy being in a room full of boss women. Okay.
You know what? But I welcome it so much. I do. I welcome us being bosses in these rooms and showing up, not to make them feel any kind of way, because I think everyone should have an opportunity to be where they choose to be at. But it
Mm.
just looks good. It feels good because I remember being on the outside. And even me
Mhm.
now in the environment that, because I still work my Monday through Friday, but I have I haven't seen a lot of women come into structural maintenance. So,
Mhm.
and when they do, they're already intimidated. They're already afraid to speak up. So for you to be able to see that transition and that switch, maybe that's why I'm like, oh yes, come with it, because I want to see it. I want to
Yeah.
see women walk into it and comfortable enough to be there. And I ain't even gonna lie, maybe a little discomfort on their side makes them understand what we've been through. You don't have to understand it, but it does happen. That switch in power, that power
Mhm.
dynamic. So that's how I look at it a little bit, because I want to see more inclusiveness, but
Yes.
you being able to see
Now,
the difference.
yes, seeing that difference makes a huge difference in how you treat people, right? So just like you, I have been the only in the room, but then I've also been the dominant gender in the room. So I also can watch a room and say, you know what, you need to come to this table, and what do you have to say about this? And so seeing that transition. But I'll also say that being in the only in a room, so medicine has also transitioned from being predominantly male in general to almost equal, even almost more female in some areas. Like I said, OBGYN definitely. So having that domination in the clinical side versus not in the C suite and the E suite, which is the executive levels. So then you start seeing those power dynamics again. And how do we navigate those spaces so that we can make sure the person with the best qualifications are there, but that is inclusive of everyone having the opportunity to get the best qualifications?
Yes. Well, how do you, for me, when I think about women coming in and having their voice and giving opportunities in those C suites, do you think that it's ever going to be as many women as it is men? Because they're the players in those high ranking positions. Do you think they'll
Mm.
ever put women there? Or do you think will always be a step behind?
So interestingly enough, I served at a time where we had the highest ranking person being a woman. I also served at a time where we had the highest ranking in the medical health agency being a woman, an Asian woman,
Mm.
and then a black woman.
Come on, somebody.
So as far as have I seen it? Yes. However, that has changed.
Okay. Okay. Why do you
So
think it
the
changed?
board, right? The leaderboard, the in charge board, whatever it is in your organization, is reverting
Why do you think that is?
because we have a difference of management in this nation.
That too. I think a lot of it, that shift that we're in right now,
Hmm.
is causing things to revert back. But I think when I personally feel that a lot of times women are given opportunities and I'm excited for it. Like for me being in structural maintenance, I came up through the ranks. I worked outside, I did paving, I did all the things. This is what I did. And I know the job. But a lot of times they put other women who don't know the job, who are asking, like, oh, is this right? Just to put a woman there.
Mm.
Do I think that's fair for other women who've come up in the ranks? No, I don't. But I think, but I know that it does give us a bad name when we're not going
Mm.
in fully qualified.
Right.
So it's easier to replace us. So I believe that every woman should show up fully and equipped in any position that they go to. Yes, we can learn it. We're more than able, more than capable of learning something. But when we're going in these positions where women were never given opportunities, I do think that we need to step in 110%.
So I understand what you're saying in regards to that. Yes, you should be able to check the box and have the qualifications. However, I've also seen how you don't even get the opportunity to be boots on the ground in certain areas so that you can never check that box. So there has to be a circuitous route for you to learn that experience or information. And then also, I've seen the 80% solutions show up, whether it be male, female, or however identified. And we help them figure out how to become the 90, 95% solution. So I don't want people to not get as much experience that they should get or could get, but I also don't want them to turn down anything because they're the 85% solution right now. Because we're going to get you when you have the right advocacy, mentorship, and support to the 95% solution 100%.
Oh yeah, 110%. Any woman that has come in, I'm supporting them. As my mother used to say, I got my hand in their back. I'm making sure. Yeah, my
We
mother
ain't
used to say,
pushing you out the door, we
door.
pushing you through the door.
That's right. And look, I'm your support when it gets tough, when it gets hard. So I'm here. But I want women to understand because they make a difference between, and I see it daily, women like myself that came up through the ranks or who are here now and ones that come from other departments. They make a
Mhm.
difference between us. We have to understand that we're here to support each other and no one is gatekeeping. We get to show up and we get to be seen and we get to be heard, and that's so important as women. If we coming in and we check those boxes and we coming in qualified, I got you on my end. We gonna win together. And I think that's so important for women to understand that when you come in, you don't have to. That's what having them come in and stay confident that you don't always have to be in, the most knowledgeable person in the room, but know that your people that have you, they got you 110%. They winning
Hmm.
with you. They walking with you in this journey. Let me say it that way. Excuse me.
Oh, I can say that most definitely. Let me tell you, when I went into my highest positions, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, from boots on the ground to the C-suite, I knew exactly who had my back.
Come on.
I knew exactly who had my back. And I tell people all the time, you need to make sure that you recognize people, acknowledge them, and see them for the human beings that they are and what they contribute at whatever position they are in the organization. Because just like you rose, you can fall. And those people that are at the different levels are either going to allow you to land on their space or fall all the way to the bottom.
That's right. And us standing together and holding each other up and making sure if we do, because let me tell you, life is not perfect. That's one thing I know for sure. Three things for certain. I do that we aren't always going to have good days. We always want them, we expect them. But when we have to pivot, you do want that safe space to land. You do want that person or those persons' support and love to cover you and keep you safe. Do we look for it to be ahead of us all the time? No, we don't, but being secure and knowing that even every day is not perfect. There is
Hmm.
safety in numbers. And that's why I think it's so important for us as women to have community, show love for each other, and never forget, no matter that it's someone else that's coming along and we get to support and lean in. If we stop leaning out,
Hmm.
that's what makes a change. That's what makes the shift in how society, how the world, how men see us. Because when they think we're
Yeah.
alone, sometimes I ain't even gonna lie. Sometimes it can be a lot.
Hmm. And I saw that when I was pregnant with our son. We were what's called geo bachelors. So my husband was home in the United States. I was in Guam. I was pregnant. I was, moving up in rank, moving up in position. And I leaned in during my pregnancy, right? I was like, I'm here. It's me and this baby inside of me. I'm about to lean in. And then once I had my son, I was like, I deserve, back then it was 6 weeks. I was like, I deserve my full 6 weeks. But then when I came back to work, and I was essentially back in charge, my team just covered me, right? One day I forgot my supplies because I was pumping, right? Because I wanted to breastfeed my child. And my friends were like, my colleagues were like, we in the hospital. We got sterile cups. Girl, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my breastfeed. We got sterile containers. We can help you. If you have a meeting, then you can do it virtually. This is before virtual was a thing,
Wow.
so that you can pump during your meeting. I
Wow.
said, see, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what community is. I'm
That's
telling
what
you.
community is.
And I think
And
it's
I,
more.
I was just saying, I always wanted to, and I always wanted to like show up as the CEO, pregnant and breastfeeding and pumping and everything. I want to see a woman do that, like $1 billion company, and be like, this is what we doing today.
Yes. And we still doing it. I think because women get such a bad rap if they have babies, if they, take a moment off, if they breathe, why can't we do it all? And I was saying it to someone else that even love stories, and when you read a good book, a good novel, women always have to give up everything to have a career. You can't have it all. That's what they tell us.
That's what they try to do.
Yes. But why can't we switch that? Why isn't books written for us, the women that's doing that, standing there, that's leading teams? You know.
And it's interesting because I got to see that in the military. And I don't see that a lot corporate as much, but I did during the time that I was in, I got to see that. And let me tell you how empowering it was. I mean, I don't know if I would have had a child if I didn't see the 3-star admiral, 4-star admiral, or 3-star admiral with a husband and children and navigating, or my supervisor doing the same thing, or the CEO of the hospital. who had an autistic child and was still leading overseas.
Come on.
So yes, it can happen, and I've seen it. And because I saw it, I decided, yeah, I could do that too. But even before I saw it, and I saw the wall that was, very similar, I was like, what? That's gonna be me one day.
Come on. I love that. What was that switch in you that said, yes, that's gonna be me one day?
I think I was born with it. I mean, like I said, I mean, when I was a little girl, one of the things that we do in Viva Life is we journal. We meditate, journal, focus on exercise, optimizing our hormone, nutrition, and sleep. Meditation and journal, I have been doing ever since I was a little girl because I saw my mom doing it, right? And there was times where we lived in a one bedroom apartment or we lived in one room. So I got to see her routine. And because of that, I continuously did that. So I started writing my goals down when I was 6 years old.
Wow.
And I knew I wanted to be a doctor, didn't have anybody around me. I wanted to own a hospital, didn't have anybody that did that either. And then, of course, I wanted to have like 7 limousines like Prince. But one for every color, I got color for every day of the week.
I ain't mad at you.
Pay back, right? And I achieved it because I stayed focused. We were in a spiritual environment where we just focused on positivity. You could achieve anything that you want to achieve. This is how you do it. You mastermind together and you come together and you make it happen. And so my mother, with her high school education and later on got her AA, she was like, we may not have a lot of money. We might not have a lot of people around us that we've seen do this before. But if this is what you want to do, we're going to put it all in there and we're going to do it. So when my mother said that to me, and then everybody else started saying, oh, okay, Kelly, you know what you want.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
I think
Hmm.
that's the key, knowing what you want sometimes. But I think a lot of us are so conditioned to believe what other people tell us we should do and
Hmm.
should become and how we should show up. For you to be able to step into who you were so young and to allow yourself to embrace it. Yes, your mom poured into you, she gave you that foundation, but to keep it in this day and age, that is a win. Because for me, I honestly, it took me until I was good and grown, as old folks say. It took me till I was good and grown to come into who I am, who I wanted to be, and let go of all the expectations of everyone around me. I was one of, I was the only girl. My parents had expectations and what they saw for me and what they wanted, and more control in my life. And I was good and grown. Like, again,
Hmm.
that they did. So anyone that can tell me that you became and you were so young and figuring this thing out, that's how I ended up at a state job, because that was the best thing. Because my journey
Hmm.
was different. I was doing other things, and they was like, you need some benefits, you need this, you need that, blah blah blah. And I was
And
like,
you know what? To be honest, I heard the same thing.
yeah.
I mean, when I went to Xavier University of Louisiana, I went on a partial scholarship and then I ended up getting a full scholarship, but that didn't cover everything. So I did the things, you go get a job in the computer lab. I should have been like a, multimillionaire by now with all the information I knew, but I wanted to be a doctor. I was just so focused, right? But I didn't know how I was going to pay for med school.
Same.
I was on a plane one day and I tell the story all the time, Southwest, when you had the business seats. And of course, I was, 19 in the business section because I should be there.
Come on.
And some gentlemen, they're sitting there in their business suits and they're like, oh, what do you want to do? I'm like, I'm going to be a doctor. And they said, well, how are you going to pay for it? And I was like, Jesus. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, what about this scholarship? So I
Jesus
found
got
out
me.
about, I knew we did. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I was like, we going to make it happen. We got here to Xavier University with little to no money, right? And this is like the elite school that sends Black students to medical school and they become doctors and pharmacists and lawyers. We got here. So absolutely, I knew that if that was my first goal, then my second, third, and fourth goal were and are going to happen. So when they said that the scholarship, and I talked to my uncle about it, he was like, absolutely, military? and you'll go in and stay for 20 years and get all your benefits.
See?
Okay, okay, Uncle, I'll do 4 years. And I got in and I didn't get out. Why? I was traveling the world. I met my husband, fine as he is, had my child, was able to buy my homes. We had, we were able to buy our cars straight out. I was getting a great education and great skill set and experience, and I was rising in rank, not without some bumpy roads. Had to live away from each other, but I've gotten to experience so much. So absolutely, I got all my benefits
I know
and
that's
still
right.
getting them.
No, but that is the key. I mean, it is a way. I'm grateful every day that my parents did that. But as far as me
Hmm.
figuring out later
Yeah.
on that it was other things that I could do, they had a
Mm.
path laid out for me that was designed to make sure that I succeeded, that I had a pension, that I had benefits, that I had this. And for you to be able to be on a plane, sitting in business class, come on, it's for the business class. I love business class. Let you know, I think that's wonderful that you were able, like you said, Jesus did it because he had people sitting next to you, people sitting around you that helped you to say, oh, okay, this is where it's going. So I think all of those are wins, no matter if you do it here or you do it there. But being able to see it firsthand, see
Hmm.
it in your face, that's
Hmm.
wins to me. That's growth. That's allowing and just receiving. When you can allow and you can surrender and be like, okay, let me think about this. I know
Hmm.
it can happen. To me,
Yeah.
those are wins.
And they truly are. One of the things that we do at the beginning of the year that many people do is we vision board, and it's just an excerpt of what I've done over my life. And in creating my journal, I created a space where the vision board goes in your journal. Because every day when you open that journal, you need to know what are my overall goals that I want to achieve and how quickly do I want to achieve this. And I'm reading this book called The Science of Scaling right now.
Okay.
And I realized I could achieve some more things faster had I put a timeline that was shorter on myself.
Yes.
So now in my second season, and I'm probably gonna have three because my family lives to be about 100. But in
Mhm.
my second season, I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna take me that long to get to where I want to be.
No, it's about positioning yourself and knowing. And like you said, what are you going to do to get where write down your goals. If you know your goals, write them down. And what does
Yeah.
it take to get there? Bing, 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 bing. Put your little tree and your limbs up. You know what it takes. Like you, I journal. And in the beginning of each year, what do I want to achieve? How do I want to get there? And then what steps would I take? And just in case I have to pivot, what other steps would it take? And then I take the time to even write down what's going to keep me from achieving these goals. So now within this year, this is what I want to accomplish. So that helps me take those necessary steps where I can always look back, lean back, and say, okay, this is where I am. Is there any other step can I take? Can I take two steps here? So I get that stepping stones to achieve those goals.
Hmm.
Putting everything in place. And if you can visually see it, I'm touching. You should see me over here. I'm just touching my desk like that's my notebook. But
I carry my journal everywhere.
yes, see,
Every
yeah,
because that is the manifestation. You know what I'm saying? That is the vision. The goals are they're all in there, and the manifestation is gonna happen. I gotta touch it. I don't have to focus on it so significantly because it's there.
right.
But I tell you, I am laser focused on the things that I want to happen in our life.
I know that's right. I love it because I also when I work with women, I teach them to use a brag bag. When I talk about my brag bag, I talk about all the things that we have in it, every accomplishment, certification, degree. Even if you have went into a job and you have made a change and a shift in the environment, do you think a lot of women would use their brag bags? Do you think they use or they just leave them to the side or they don't put anything in them?
It's funny you talk about a brag bag because I have what's called the brag subfolder.
Uh-huh.
So, especially when you're in the military, you have to have impact statements. I was the chief of this and did this, and 30 people had this, and I saved $1 billion all the time. So, I mean, every single time, boom, boom, boom. Now, my brag bag tends to be my social media page. So, every single time we do something, especially business wise, boom, boom, boom. And do we use that? Absolutely. Why? Because people are monitoring you. They're looking at your LinkedIn, they're looking at your IG, your TikTok, and your Facebook. They're looking at everything. So that right there is your ability to say that, yes, we've done that. And you have to carry that along. I still have my resume since 1994, my
Yes.
iterations.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, I forgot I did that. Huh.
Because we do. Cause no, because I think some women are conditioned not to thinking
Mhm.
that is arrogance. No one want to see
No,
that, but I want women to know all the time it's all right to go in there and pull them out, put it to the side, have a little side pocket because each part of you stitching yourself and being together is part of what you have there, and that's what keeps you. That's what helps you continue to stand up, stand tall, be who you want to be, and choose to shift and change this world where we're
yep,
all inclusive of each other. And you don't have to leave the
absolutely.
table.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at people, I remember when I transitioned onto another position, I still kept the other one was like emeritus. Like, did she really put emeritus on here? I sure did.
Yeah. Why for not? Look, why for not? Why not? When more comfortable we get doing that, the better the world will start to see us differently. They'll know that we're not going to just show what they need. We're showing our whole selves, and they get to be part. Look, either you get be part of it. I'm gonna go on by you in passion and go up somewhere because I'm not staying here. I'm not sitting here being just what you think I should be. And I know it's
Absolutely.
important. I do. I know it's so important. I know we here and we chatting it up and stuff like that. But I wanted to know, you talk about women's health, so
Mm-hmm.
I want to know all about before I get carried away and go somewhere else. I wanted to
Okay.
know about. Tell me about you and what you do and how you help women. I think we even touched on it when we first met, as far as women and being able to. I think when women aren't confident, don't show up, aren't courageous, they spend a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. They
They
do.
they for me, I think about them not showing up fully in their health for themselves, health wise.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
causes them not to feel well, heart conditions, all the things, the stress from being in these environments where they're not being their true selves. So I know
Mm-hmm.
you can help us out here and understanding some things by telling us a bit more about you.
Absolutely. So there's a couple things that I say with that about wearing a mask when you leave out the house, right? So we all got used to it with COVID. But I think culturally we have been taught to leave everything at home and then you walk out that door, you put a smile on your face, cover up everything else, and you get out there. And then we get frustrated when we're at work or in a professional experience and people are treating us with the mask on. And when we take off the mask, they're like, I don't even know who that person is. You've never even said anything like that. And it's the reason why is because you've been shielding them when you thought you were just shielding yourself.
Yeah.
No, you're shielding them so therefore they can't treat you as the whole person that you truly are. And really, when I went to one of my most significant positions, I was concerned. You know, what I was concerned about.
What was that?
Are they going to accept me for my braids?
Ri- You isn't that the truth though? Let me tell you.
I didn't care about that.
It's craziness. It's because my hair used to be locks. I had locks and everything else. But I used to worry when I went in for interviews, when I went to for higher positions, they wasn't going to accept me. They wasn't going to let me have a job because people not going to be comfortable with me with my locks and this, that, and the other. That was me.
Yeah, it was completely me too.
Yes.
Because when I got there, as long as my hair wasn't a bun, because that's how you had to do if your hair was a certain length, they were like, okay, what we doing? It's the same thing when you show up on the basketball court,
That's right.
right? If you got handles and all that other stuff, you can have pants on that's down to your feet. You can have a sweater on. You can have a hoodie on. It don't matter. Or you can have less.
That's right.
Can you shoot the ball and get the ball in?
Can you bring it up the court just in case? Can you catch that rebound, baby? No.
And can you get double teamed and find the open person and pass it on to them so that they can get the shot so we can get back down the court for our defense? I mean,
Exactly.
that it's the same thing in business, whether you're an entrepreneur or corporate, or even if you're the entrepreneur of your home. The point is, can we get what we need to get done? Is the mission, the vision, the goals, the values clear? And are we all on the same page so we can all win?
See, but that's what gets lost. That gets lost,
Yeah.
especially for black women. We get lost in it because we're so concerned and worried about what they're thinking about us because we have been conditioned. Not that it's not true, because it is.
Yeah.
They do look at
Yep.
us, they do think of us differently. But when we start thinking and not allowing ourselves to fully show up because we don't want them to think the thoughts that they have, that's not our business, because we bring in our full selves. That's the difference. When we allow
Right.
ourselves to be consumed by what they might say or what they think, not your business. That's one thing I
Mhm.
have learned over time and time again.
Exactly.
Like, and I'm not showing up less than. I'm showing up 110% me, meaning I'm speaking up. And you might listen. I'm quick with it. Like, and then, like, what is happening here? I don't play. I
And
tell you
people
what's going to
treat you
happen.
differently when they know who they're dealing with.
That's so true. They before they step over those boundaries. It's funny, today I was having conversations with some young men because the job has transitioned. I was a young woman when I first started. Now I'm a woman of a particular age. I'm seasoned.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Was it always like this? Everyone always questioning us?" I said, "Let me tell you something. It's how you show up. You're the leader.
Mm.
You're in charge. You give directives, but you guys sitting around here asking, can you, will you? No, honey, let me tell you what I need you to do. Let me show you. This is the expectations. These are the SOPs. This is what you're going to do. When we change and we shift, meaning us as women, and we show up fully in these jobs, just like these young men now aren't because they want to be nice and gentle. That's what y'all they do. I don't know what happens, but but they gonna
And there's a
change.
way to be, and there's a way to be what I call a loving leader,
Yes.
right? But you still hold people accountable. It's same thing with your, like if you're raising children or you're trying to have accountability in anything that you do. There's a way to approach people so that they will be, that they will follow their PD or, be in alignment, divine alignment with what you're trying to do. And there's a way not to. Um, but if you can figure out, okay, managing, because the higher you get, you're like influential and not sometimes actually like you do what I say do.
Right.
People like kick rocks. I can go.
Like,
Like I can go get another job
yes, they like
for some
and
people.
no. That's what they go,
Right.
and no.
So
We're
you
not
got to
doing that.
figure out, you figure out how do I show up as this leader that is can be kind and caring and everything, but still hold you accountable to what we need to do. And if we can focus on this mission and you understand that, then we'll be able to move forward. But one of the things you did ask me, I know we went off on a tangent.
I know we did. I just was thinking that. I said we went left. So
One of the things that you asked me about women's health and advocating, and we talked about showing up for yourself, and the reason why people's stress levels are so high. First of all, your portion control in your plate, and I'm not just talking about the food that you eat, which food is medicine, but is you got too much on your plate, and you're trying to do too much, and you're not focused on what the most important thing is. And so, in trying to do that and juggle like 15 billion things, you got a portion control. So, for example, if I'm talking about my priorities have always been God, self, family, country, then community, right? Now, it might be 15 minutes for this, 30 minutes for this, an hour for this, but this is the priority. Some things are going to get more time and things going to be less. But if I feel myself getting overwhelmed, and not in a positive way because you're getting abundance of blessings, but you're getting overwhelmed because you put too much stuff on your plate, then your blood pressure is going to go up. Then you're going to start eating inappropriately. And when I say eating inappropriately, I do mean food there, which means you're going to gain weight. Or you're going to lose too much weight because you're not eating well at all. You're going to see your hair falling out. You're going to see your skin getting dry. You're going to see urinary incontinence. You're going to see your fibroids growing. You're going to see your periods going irregular. And you're going to see the hot flashes, the vaginal dryness, and all the other 50 issues that perimenopausal and menopausal women have. And that's because we are not taking care of ourselves first. For me, God first, then self. The first hour of the day belongs to Dr. Kelly Elmore. And that first hour consists of my prayer work, my journaling, my exercise. I've already gotten my 7 hours of sleep, and then I can focus on nutrition, hormones, and then doing my job well, whatever it is that I'm doing that day.
Okay, I love that. How would you, if a woman is not used to following that or creating their own? Because we don't want anybody to do anything they don't want to do, but
Oh.
creating something that's going to work with them. What would you, if you had to pick one first? What would you say?
If I had to pick one of those part of the acronyms,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that your mindfulness and your meditation
Okay.
every time.
So.
The reason being is because if you can focus yourself and feel from the top of your head down to the sole of your feet what really is going on in you, then you'll be able to change things in the other pillars of your life.
Oh, I love that completely.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking for a minute and we're getting close to time. So I have to
Mhm.
ask you my favorite question I love. Dr.
Sure.
Kelly, what does it mean to be rooted in your confidence?
I know who I am and whose I am. And I don't come off my six. And even if I want to inch away, I always go back to that, knowing that my higher power has given me gifts, talents, knowledge, abilities, and skills, and I'm expected to use it to make a positive impact in this world and this globe.
Oh, thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that. That was
you're
beautiful. Look,
welcome.
you got my little
Thank you.
heart beating faster. Ooh. Well, Dr. Kelly, thank you for sharing your stories,
Thank
your
you.
wisdom, and your truth. And you showing us what it looks like to lead in some of the toughest environments, to keep pushing for systems that value women and families. For those listening, remember this: confidence isn't just about speaking up, it's about being steady, visible, and rooted, even when the environment shakes you. Dr. Kelly, would you like to tell everyone where they can find you, where they can get in touch with you? I would love for you to do that.
Absolutely. So it's easy. drkellyomd.com. drkellyomd.com. And you can Google me, Dr. Kelly Elmore. You will definitely find me.
All right, come somebody, come with somebody. So, ladies, you can reach Dr. Kelly. Her information will be in the show notes. But before I leave, I want to tell you, if this conversation spoke to you, don't stop here. Take the Brag Bag Confidence Assessment or book a Brag Bag strategy session with me. Start collecting your proof and your power. So when your confidence is tested, you don't shrink, you stay rooted. This is a movement, and it's not just about using your voice, it's about keeping it, trusting it, even when someone tries to take it away. You don't shrink over here. We speak from our roots. Until next time.